Okay. Hello, everyone. I think the numbers are still streaming in. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's session. This is the info session for the 11th cohort of the Africa Angel Academy in the year 2025. So welcome and thank you for joining us today. We'll start in a short while. Let's just give it a couple of minutes to just make sure that everybody who's in the waiting room is able to join, and then we're going to start in the next 1 or 2 minutes. We have a beautiful day ahead of us. We're just having a quick chat with some of the speakers we'll have for today, and just catching up on how the year is looking like as we start this year. So I'm looking forward to the session and just sharing a bit more about the academy and about angel investing. So thank you for joining us. And I think it's 18:05, so we can get started. We'll allow for everybody else to join us a bit later. So if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome once again to the Africa Angel Academy info session for the 11th cohort and the first one for 2025. We've been running cohorts all the way from the year 2020 to date, and we're really glad with the work that you've been able to do. But before we get started, sorry, what happened there? Before we get started, we wanted to have everybody introduce themselves and we get to know who's in the room, where you're dialing in, if you have any clear expectations. So I'm going to put in this QR code, which is on Menti. I'm going to request if you could just pull out your phone, scan the QR code. We'll also post the link on the chat, just in case you're not able to scan the QR code, assuming you're joining on your phone. And we can just respond to the few questions to just see where everybody is dialing in from. If you have any clear questions or expectations for today's session. And then after that, we'll move on to the actual session. So if you could kindly just scan these with your QR code, and then we can move on to seeing some of the results from the quick poll that you set out. Fiona, in the meantime, if we just type in the chat the link for the session, so that if someone wants to access that through that, they can just be able to access that. So Fiona, are you gonna, I think you may need to share the screen, because my next slide is the agenda slide, to just show the results of our poll as we move on. So just one sec, we get the results of our poll and we see where everybody is dialing in from. So, so let me just put it, okay, there. Yeah, so we have lots of, seeing Nairobi, Kenya, seeing Germany, Doha, yeah, very well represented across the world. Amsterdam, yeah, brilliant. Feel very welcome to today's session. We'll get to know each other. We only have 12 responses and there is 35 of us. So let's give it a couple of more seconds to just see whether we can get some more cities represented here. DRC, welcome from DRC. Incidentally, as the Academy, we've already ran programs in 24 different African countries. And we'll, a number of these have already been presented. I think we've done programs already in Nigeria, in Kenya. We've done something in DRC. We've had participants who've joined part of our programs for various parts of the world. Alex, I don't know that you remember whether we've had Amsterdam and Germany also, but I know we've had lots of the UK.
We have had Amsterdam and Germany. We've had diaspora based in Europe dialing in because it's similar time zones. And of course, we have our partner and facilitator, David, dialing in from Amsterdam. So
Ah,
we are inclusive.
awesome. Let's move on to the next question. Fiona, if we move to the next question. So in terms of what people are looking for the session, is it worth paying 1,000? Okay, not euros. I wish it was euros. It's gonna be dollars this time around, but next time we'll make sure to charge 1,000 euros for the program. And I think for that we'll have Kemi respond to that question once we get to the alumni panel. But that's a good question. Let's see if we can convince you around that. But we'll leave that to the alumni who've gone through the program, who will share what the experience has been. But we'll also speak about the entirety of the program and how it looks like. And we'll let you be the judge for that. So there's insights and lessons learned. I think the alumni panel is going to be very useful for that. And networking, that's one of the core offerings that we have for the program. And then I want to move into a VC career and I want to gain insights on angel investing. Yeah, that's an interesting point. We've had a couple of our angel investors or people who've joined our programs make transitions towards the VC space. I think probably Michelle is going to speak to that once you get to that point. More about investing, learn more about AAA. And I think, yes, you are in the right room. We are going to go through all these different aspects. Alex, anything you want to comment about? Nope. Okay, cool. Next question. Have you already made an investment as an angel? And out of the responses that we have, 7 responses, 5.1. I don't know how to describe 5.1, 2.7, 0.1. Okay, 5 have made investments, have not made investments yet. 2 have made some investments, and 0.1 is about to make an investment. That's interesting. Yeah, but feel very much at home. The whole idea about the academy is to admit both people who've not made investments, or potential angels in this case, and active angel investors. And the offering for potential angel investors is really just this idea of formalizing your investment process. At least we've spoken to a number of alumni who joined various programs that we've had, and they've mentioned all the key things they like about the academy was this idea of being able to formalize their angel investment journey. And for those who've not made investments, joining in and learning from other experienced angel investors, being able to network with people who've made investments, some of our speakers, some of the facilitators we have is always a useful thing. And we do spend a lot of time, ensuring that we can create networks within the academy and within the program. So you'll get to learn from everybody. And so even for those who are about to make investments, we usually have a startup showcase towards the end. We'll speak about that. And during that, then you get to look at some investments that you can make investments into. So feel very much welcome. And I think we can move to the next section. Let me just share my screen. We can speak more about the agenda for today and what you can expect from the academy. Okay. And so just continuing from that point, this is the agenda for today. We are going to be talking much more about the academy and speaking about the program and what exactly is on offer. And if by that time we're still not convinced you of the value of the academy, or at least this specific program, we'll invite our alumni panel. And we did not, I guess they'll speak for themselves, but they've just joined just to share their experiences. Feel free to ask any questions around what they picked out, how they enjoyed the program, but they'll speak about the experiences. And then we'll allow for a Q&A session at the tail end, where you can get to ask any questions and we respond to those as we plan for the cohort that's incoming. And so just starting from there, just a bit more about the academy. So the academy has been ongoing since 2020. That's when we started. And the whole objective is really just to support angel investors and early investors to actualize their investment objectives. So if you're looking to start making your investments, if you've already been making investments, we really just would want to work with you to support you in that investment journey by helping you in terms of sharing lots of content from that we created around the angel investment journey. But on top of that, having really good speakers from the ecosystem, experienced speakers from the ecosystem, both on the VC side, on the angel investing side, who get to share their own experiences around angel investing, around early stage investing. And on top of that, once you're done with the training aspect, it's really focusing around this networking aspect. One of the core things we found is that there's lots of experiences that angels across the continent are learning based on where they're from. There's some ecosystems which are quite developed compared to others. There's some angel investors who are much more developing their angel investment journeys compared to others. So we want to get that networking going on. And also very importantly, we've also seen cross-border deals happening. And so then the hope is that, from all this networking, you also get a couple of deals happening from that perspective. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's a showcasing of opportunities for investment. And so what we ensure is that at the end of every cohort, we showcase a couple of deals which have been nominated by angels who are going through the program that they're thinking about making investments into. And those deals are ready for investment. And so if you want to make investments, you can be able to make investment into those. And so it's really the content, there's the networking, and there's really learning from experienced speakers from across the continent. In terms of experience from the academy, as mentioned, we've trained already 713 different participants from 26 African countries. We've had 10 cohorts. This is our 11th cohort. Our 10th cohort was very special because it was an all-female cohort, and we had over 80 angel investors who participated in that. And that's one of the stats we are very proud of. Actually, the number here, 48% women participation, is on the lower side. We're just having a chat with Alex about this, and we've had now 52%. Once we include the last cohort that we just finalized on, 52% female participation. And so this is one way that we've been very deliberate in terms of seeing how we can support and ensure that we're getting more funding to not only, to both genders in this case. And I'm sure you've been seeing some of the statistics which are coming out, which are not very positive in terms of the level of investment that is going to female founders in this case. And so as an academy, we're very deliberate about our admission process, and we always aim to ensure that we have a 50-50 match between the different genders when we are admitting people to the academy. So in terms of what you'd expect, and as we move on, is that of course we're going to have lots of guest speakers, lots of master classes, and we've done lots of those. We have a lot of content. All this is recorded, and we'll be sharing those as we move through. We've had a number of angel groups being created from the academy, and we've had a couple of case studies that we'll be showcasing in a bit. Before I continue, it's good to share about which teams are behind the Africa Angel Academy. And I'm going to invite Alex to say hi and probably just introduce Viridian, and then I'll speak about Victoria Ventures. Alex?
Hi, everyone. So nice to be on this info session call and with Stephen, Fiona, and the Victoria Ventures team. My name's Alex Fraser. I'm the CEO and founder of Viridian. And we, along with Stephen and David, who is also on this call, conceptualized the AAA program. And after spending many years working in the angel investment space, as well as being active angels ourselves, and we thought, why don't we put together a program and build this platform? And that was all conceived in 2019. We had to pivot rapidly in 2020, but I think it made us build a really exceptional Pan-African program right from the get-go. We're incredibly proud of the over 700 angels that we've trained, and we look forward to working with many of you in the future for cohort 11. And yeah, I'm dialing in from Cape Town, South Africa, but work across the continent.
Thank you, Alex. And let me just see, David, would you like to say hi? David is the other core partner of AAA. And David, you want to say hi?
David seems to be named Beatrice today for some reason. He's in disguise. So Fiona, if you're looking for David and can't find him, he's called Beatrice today for some reason. But that's Beatrice's, or unless Beatrice is pretending to be David in the chat.
Okay, Beatrice, David. Okay, I am gonna go on because I can't hear David, but David is, I'm sure. Wow. Okay. I'm sure you've probably you've seen a couple of posts from David Van Dyke, who's based in the Netherlands, and he's one of the core facilitators of the AAA and one of the core team members when we were thinking about AAA, who was involved in terms of recording everything and really supporting the vision for AAA. David, if at any point you are able to speak, feel free to just unmute yourself and you can say hi. I'm dialing in from Nairobi. My name is Stephen Gugu. I realized I did not introduce myself. I'm from Victoria Ventures. And we run the Victoria Business Angels Network, which is based out in Nairobi. And out of the experience that we had around making investments and training our angel investors together with the other partners, Alex and David in this case, we created the Africa Angel Academy. On a day-to-day basis, Victoria Ventures does three things, which is run the angel network, but also do some programmatic stuff, which is all related around democratizing access to capital. And we do our work across the continent, but based out of Nairobi. So I will jump on to the next slide, unless David, are you able to speak? No. Okay. So about the academy, what you expect around the academy, we have three key offerings. Part of this is the cohort-based learning, and this is what we are speaking about today. If you want to join one of our programs, we have a 12-week program that we've structured. Some of the programs that we have, in fact, all the different 10 programs we've had have been partly sponsored or fully sponsored by different development partners. And this is our first cohort that is going to be fully self-sponsored. But we ran that a 12-week program, which I'm going to speak about in a bit. You could also come to the academy and say that I want to go through part of the content that's been created. And so towards this, then you could purchase any of the individual modules that we have. And we have a total of 15 different modules. And you can choose to purchase, then we'll speak about those modules in a second. Or you could choose also to purchase our 3 uniquely curated learning paths. And these are towards if you're, someone who's starting out on the journey, someone who's a bit advanced, or someone who's fully advanced. We have different journeys that you've created for you, and you can be able to go through that. Once you finish going through any of the first bits of the academy, we also have an alumni, an active alumni of 713 angel investors who are part of the program. And we have a quarterly Angel Connect sessions where we get to share more about what's happening in the ecosystem. We invite different speakers and have topical conversations about these different aspects. We are planning to introduce some showcases where you can be able to then, as an alumni, be able to look at startups which are being invested, which are ready for investment, and also just lots of mentorship between the different alumni, which is part of the program we're going to start towards this year. I see that David is now available and is not in Beatrice. So David, over to you.
Thanks, Stephen. I was still trying to get my video background to work. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Good to have everyone on the call. Thank you so much for joining. So I've been part of the family since day zero, working with Stephen, Alexander, and the team. And it's been a super rewarding partnership, cooperation over the past years. It's been really inspirational to work with investors and aspiring investors from across the continent. Angel investing is, it's something that you learn by doing. There's a lot of questions, a lot of insecurities, and it's something where you can really benefit from, having a network of sort of like-minded people that go through the same processes and have the same insecurity. So for me, the Angel Academy has been a big community of people that want to support promising founders, and I'm very much looking forward to cohort number 11. Great to meet with everyone, and I'm looking forward to a great session as well today. Thanks.
Thanks, David. And just carrying on from there, just a bit about who are the angels in the continent. And there's lots of research that's done every year. If you go to our website, the Africa Angel Academy, we've published a number of research pieces together or in partnership with the Africa Business Angels Network and Brighter Bridges. So you could pick out a lot of this information there, but generally it's professionals to mid-career. We have lots of entrepreneurs who are also making investments as angel investors. We have people, they're really excited about the Africa Angel ecosystem. I know if you look at the news that's been coming out, it's not the most exciting in terms of how the funding has been going, but there's lots of people who see lots of opportunities within the continent. They want to support to create the next unicorns. And so those are people who are angel investors in the continent. We've had a number of people who've done a couple of successful exits, and they've come back and they've had significant impact in terms of being, investors within the continent. And this point around impact is an important one. If you're going to be an angel investor within the continent, one of the core things you'll have to do is not only just focus on returns, but also on impact, because it does take a bit of time before you can, have your 10x, have your unicorn in this case, and you'll find there's lots of building that needs to be done. Most of the startups need a lot of support from you, and so you better be ready to roll up your sleeves to support these companies to be able to move forward. The other thing about most angels within the continent is that you'll find that there's lots of investments which are being done in syndicates, because going it by yourself, you probably don't get as, very decent deal flow in this case, or from a due diligence perspective, you do need some support. David just spoke about just having this level of support where, you're asking yourself, is this the best deal to invest in? Are these the best deal times to invest into? Do I understand the industry really well? And so syndicates help a lot. And that's why, the angel groups across the continent are very useful. And one of the ways we found, there's some research that, Viridian carried out last year, which was looking at how investments happen for angel investors. And you're more likely to start your angel investment journey if you join a group than if you don't join a group. And I'll probably invite Alex just to mention our words around that. And what we've seen is that you find angels investing in different ranges, all the way from $1,000 to sort of $50,000. Of course, the $1,000 in this case, people investing in syndicates in this case, and really want to understand the process fast before they can graduate and start making much bigger investment sizes. Alex, do you want to add anything, especially around the research that you carried out last year?
No, but all the research is available on our website, and also just keep looking. It's also when you join the online course, we also update any resources sections that we have. So we'll share latest statistics, etc. And because there's new research and data coming out all the time. For instance, especially at this time of year with all the deal data from the end of 2024 coming and being together and being launched. So yeah, just to say we keep on top of it.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. And just to mention that tomorrow there's going to be one of the best sources of data around early stage investing, or this, early stage tech investing in the continent, Africa, the big deal. They're going to be having a webinar tomorrow at 11 o'clock Kenya time. We'll post a link around that. You need to register for that. It's going to be on LinkedIn. So that might be an interesting place for you to just jump into and find more about what's happening within the ecosystem. In terms of the programs team, this is the programs team. I think you've already heard from myself, Alex, and David. I don't know whether Michelle is on the call, but we're also going to hear from Fiona in a second. Fiona, maybe you want to just say hi, because you'll get an opportunity to speak more about yourself a bit later.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, Fiona is our programs manager. And you've probably received lots of emails from her around these cohorts. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot questions to her or to ourselves, and we can respond to that. I don't know that Michelle is on the call.
Stephen, I'm flying the Viridian flag as Michelle has another event this evening.
Oh, brilliant. And of course, we have Nduta, who's supporting on the marketing side. So just jumping on. So at the Academy, we've just mentioned that we've been doing lots of work. I'm just going to special mention around this. We have a couple of case studies. If you want to learn about different angel groups, you know, and maybe you're on the journey you're thinking about creating an angel group, there's lots of resources we have around that. Those are some case studies that we published last year. We also published a couple of legal guides around different countries. I think in total now we have 6 different countries that we publish legal guides about. And so this could be interesting for you just in case you want to understand about making investment to those different countries. So, of course, our applications are now open for this cohort, and we are going to be sharing the application link. I think it's going to be also just pasted on the chat, just in case you've not applied yet. But just to jump on and speak more about the program elements. So the typical program that we run, which is a 12-week program, has different elements, and these are the key elements. The first thing is that you have the 12 modules that you go through, which are hosted on a Thinkific platform. And what we do is that on a weekly basis, we release one new module that you'll be going through. So that's the first key bit, and this speaks about the whole angel investment journey, all the way from your strategy to your sourcing of deals, carrying out your due diligence, valuations, negotiations, value addition, impact investing, exits, and so forth. So that's the first key pillar of the program you'll be attending. And then on top of that, we have weekly live sessions. During the weekly live sessions, what we have a mix of Q&A session, where either the core facilitators that you just met, and we also invite other angel investors from the ecosystem or from our alumni, and they get to respond to any questions you might have around the different topics that we're going through during that week. And so if it's on due diligence, for instance, we'll invite a couple of alumni to come on board and other experienced angels, and we'll have a Q&A session that you can be able to learn from. We also have master classes, and that's where, for instance, when we're dealing with legal matters, we'll invite lawyers from different ecosystems that represent the countries where the participants are coming from, and you will get an opportunity to ask any questions that you have around investing into early stage companies. Questions around this could be around, what instrument should I use to invest? Could be around, what are the tax issues I need to consider, and so forth. So we have master classes, which are also organized. And so during the weekly live sessions, we have the Q&A session, but you also have master classes. We have evaluation master class, negotiations master class, a legal master class, and exit master class. So you get to learn from those different master classes. That's the second key pillar. And then the third key pillar is the startup showcases. And what happens with startup showcases is that at the tail end of the program, we source for startups that you can invest into if you want to make an investment. It's not a requirement that you make investments, but angel investment is a contact spot. And so you learn much more when you make an investment than when you're going through the content. And so that's why we showcase the deals that you can be able to make an investment into. And we encourage, if you find something that you like that aligns and you're at that point that you're ready to make an investment, that you can make an investment around that. We have not, and we'll speak more about the showcases much later, but those startups usually come from angel investors who are part of the cohort. The last bit is depending on how and the partners that we're working with. Every so often we also have group mentorship, especially when you find that there's angel groups that want to form. But this is on a case-by-case basis. But these are the four key pillars of our program, and this is what you'll be going through. And so, as I just mentioned, this is how the program typically looks like: the 12-week module, the bi-weekly Q&A session, expert masterclasses, startup showcases, and then you have mentorships. The key things for you to remember, the first thing is that the program will start on March the 3rd, 2025. So we have just about a month and a half before we kick off the program. The program will be for 12 weeks. The last week is just the closing week in this case. And the application process closes on the 19th of February. And so we are doing a rolling application where a rolling selection rather. So once you made your application, we'll review that and we'll provide feedback almost immediately if you've been admitted. And then on that basis, we'll then move to the next stage, which is the payment. And then after that, we'll wait for the March 3rd start date in this case. The program fee is $1,000. And it's a self-paced online learning, of course, augmented by the different aspects I've just mentioned. And just from a timeline perspective, maybe I don't want to spend so much time on this. We have a timeline here that just shows the different modules that you expect to go through, right from strategy, deal sourcing, in the different weeks in this case. And it goes all the way till the showcases, which happens right at the end. But as you can imagine, if you look at what is indicated on the slide, everything here speaks about the typical angel investment journey or early stage investment journey, all the way to the point where you're able to make an investment. I don't know if there's any question. I can't see any questions so far. So the time commitment for you is really 2 to 3 hours per week. And that's between the content that you need to go through, the Q&A session, or the expert masterclass session that we have. We have a discussion forum. So if you have any questions, you can ask those questions that they'll be featured in the next Q&A session that we're hosting for that week. Yeah. And we release modules every Friday. So every Friday you get the module for the following week, and then we follow up on that as we move on. So is this program for you? So the program is for you if, number one, you're already making investments or you're interested to start your angel investment journey. You could come in as yourself or as a group. We have some special discounts for groups. And so if you're an informal group that's been thinking about going on the journey, you can reach out to us and we can see what kind of discounts we can provide for you. But at least you have the interest or you're already making investments in early stage startups. Typically, we want people who are going to be willing to make investments, typically within the next 1 year. And you have a bit of experience, typically 10 years experience and above. And the whole idea behind this is that angel investing is all about the 3 C's, right? There's capital, there's coaching, and there's connections. So the capital is the first part where you can make an investment. The coaching is that you can support the startups in terms of any challenges that they have. And that's typically tends to be the biggest value that you'll have for the startups to invest into. The fact that you have some experience that you can share with them, either on something specific, finance, accounting, legal, whatever it might be, or you can make connections for them. And so that's the other bit. And then the last bit is just that you're interested to meet with like-minded potential investors. And I'm almost done with my session, with my bit here. So we are looking for them to host you. I'll just invite Fiona just to say 1 or 2 words before you jump into the panel about how the online experience looks like. And then after that, we'll move on to the panel. Fiona?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Super excited to have you. The learning process and the online environment is super easy to navigate and seamless. Once you do get your acceptance email from us, you will receive a link to create your account to be able to make the payment. This is what essentially you would be looking at in terms of creating your account, after which when we do enroll you to the program at the March 3rd start, this is what your student dashboard should look like, and you will be enrolled to the cohort program. So while you're navigating through and you're kickstarting your learning journey, this is what you'd expect to see on your screens as you're going through each of the modules. Super excited to share more information when onboarding, hopefully all of you, to the program in the coming weeks. Thanks, Stephen. Now we'll, if you're definitely interested in participating in this cohort, feel free to scan this link, this QR code, or follow the link in the chat to apply. We'll also send a link in a follow-up email with a link for you to be able to apply.
Thanks, Fiona. Let's now move to the quick alumni panel session, and I'm going to invite Alex, who's going to be moderating that, and the speakers who Alex is going to be introducing in a second. Alex, over to you.
Thanks, everyone. I am really pleased to introduce you to our panel. Kemi, Temitope, and Michelle we are all on first name basis. Once you join the AAA cohort, it's a cohort of friends, and we get to know each other because I think you'll hear from our alumni that it's a really valuable community. And we're going to just have a bit of a discussion around their angel investment journey, the value that they hopefully got out of the program. And we are quite short on time, so also feel free to ask questions to the alumni and to us at the same time. So just Fiona, if you can just monitor the chat or just raise a question, raise a hand if there's a question. Kemi, I'm going to start with you and just ask you to introduce yourself and give the audience a little bit of an overview into where you are in your angel investment journey and how you got involved.
I was on mute. Okay, so thank you, Alex. My name is Kemi Oyeshola. I run, my business is called How to Think Global Solutions. And yes, that's exactly what I do. I teach the fine art of how to think, not mindset, totally two different things. I think that's all. I'm a granny and a mommy. The course, someone introduced me to it and I said, oh no, I couldn't join. You know, I have never invested. I'm just interested. And I think there was a call for people from the UK who are African and all that. And I was not in the UK at the time. I was in Nigeria. But she said, no, you can join, just come in. And I did. Now, at that time, I was looking after my mom. Now, what I'm saying this for many people who want to give an excuse for not paying attention. People will come after you in AAA. They will come after and say, where are you? What are you doing? Do you need any help? Now, what I've gained, what I gained from it is I'm not new to investment that way. I know what investment is, but I was new to the intricacies and how it works. And I was just so blown. I never get blown away because I can't do anything when I'm blown away. I need to be here. So I was blown by the information. Like, what? You mean I can just get in there? And the other thing that, and I'll end with this, the other thing is, some of you might come in and say, but I don't have money to invest. You don't have to invest starting with money. You heard Stephen, he mentioned coaching. That's where I go in a lot with the people I've invested with. It's coaching. I find that when people start businesses, their thinking is stinking. That's what I call it. They have stinking thinking, and then they make silly choices, silly decisions, and they lose money or they wrap up their businesses. And if you're invested in that, then that's a mess. I've found it really, really exciting and interesting to help people in their businesses with what I do. I help them to tweak the way they think so they can think right to get the results they want. I don't do magic. I don't do all the other things you've heard about mindset. I'm pretty simple. It's about thinking. I'll stop there.
Thanks, Kemi. Michelle, over to you.
Thanks, Alex. What I got out of that program, I think maybe starting with my motivation, my very first job in London was relating to the continent. And I don't think the opportunity set with Africa was obvious to me, just given it was my first job. And it took me working with large corporations in Europe across multiple sectors before I realized that, you know, technology and innovation could really lead to leapfrogging of stages of development. And that is what I was keen to spend my career on. I'm someone that's come from many different sectors, doing many different roles. And at one point in time, it became clear that, you know, the gap was really in early stage investing. There's definitely a need to help large corporations grow. I think there was an Economist article that came out recently that highlighted that. But for me, having done some work also with SME investing, I realized that, hey, it's not just about the financial capital. And I think this is where leads to Kemi's point. It's not just about financial capital, and this is particularly obvious in early stage investing, where an entrepreneur, and I'm not one, but I've come across a few, an entrepreneur has to get involved in so many aspects of a business, right? And sometimes you could be an expert or stronger in one part of a business, maybe the finance side, maybe the marketing, but it really takes a team, right, to build a successful business. And I think I was interested, having been on the investor side, to gain more knowledge or gain more empathy with founders by increasing my interaction with them. If I really wanted to help stimulate the private sector in Africa, I felt that a company needs to go through a very long time before it becomes successful. So I considered, maybe I came across AAA when it was on its 7th or 8th cohort. But I read through the website, and at first, without joining the info session, I read what was on the website, and I think I did this to myself, where I just said like, "Oh, you're not good enough yet." But somehow I came to meet some people within the ecosystem, learned about cohort 10, and I was probably at the stage of my career where I felt I wanted to gain more control over where I can help direct capital in the absence of joining a fund, where typically the LPs tend to have a bit of a louder voice. And I felt that, just listening to my interest, which was across sectors, my passion for early stage businesses, I just felt that, complementing my existing knowledge with the structure of AAA, I would say, was super helpful for me. I think a lot of the information we can definitely find on public sources, but what makes the program special for me was that it was curated by people who were in the sector, had hands-on experience, and could give advice that you probably can't get just by reading an article. Yeah, that's me, Alex.
Thanks, Michelle. Temitope, over to you.
Right, thank you, Alex. My experience has been around building companies. I've been a serial entrepreneur into about 6-8 companies. And over the time, I decided to go to a company called Get Equity, which seeks to democratize access to investments across Africa. And this is born by my passion, because I understand the fact that with most companies and most people building great solutions, they need capital to boost them to the next level of growth. I've been lucky to be around people and seen most of the major companies across Africa, from Paystack to Flutterwave, who have scaled. I've seen them from the beginning, right? I've been around the entrepreneurs who are behind these companies, and I've watched them scale their companies around the same circles. And I understand the fact that for us, we need capital, our own capital, and capital exists. And if you check the capital markets and what they trade, especially in Nigeria, what we do about 65 trillion naira, almost give or take $8 billion. There are a lot of C-level companies and people who have this capital, but they don't understand the concept of angel investment. Some of them rather trade it into opportunities like bonds, T-bills, and short-term investments, but don't understand the concept of growing long-term investments. Yes, investing is risky. There isn't two ways about it. But the fact is, you're growing the continent's economic empowerment by funding a company who goes on to hire people and create more economic wealth for people. And so this is the key value point in terms of where you need to grow and where you need to advise. And most times people think you need to have tons of money to invest in companies. You can start with as small as $1,000, right? In 1 year, right? And start from that point, getting to a syndicate, which is a group of you who could maybe put together 1,000 and do like a 5 or 10,000 into a company. And just by that, you could have empowered the company to go 10 times. And so I started my investment journey from a syndicate opportunity and vehicle. But then I started saying, look, I'm an entrepreneur. I need to understand what investors are looking, right, in what they look out for. And so it caught me into the journey to learn more. And trust me, it exposed me to a lot of things. And I think one thing the Africa NGO Academy does is, just as Michelle said, giving you information from a deep point of practical understanding, right? You have people who have invested in multiple companies share exactly how they structure their funds, or structure their legal systems, or structure their due diligence approaches to businesses that you will not find anywhere, right? Even if you Google or use AI, you will not find it, because this is essentially wisdom that cannot be taught. And so when you hear from people, it helps you also in your own unique way structure your own fund. And I think lessons I learned from there helped me in building my own fund, which has helped me scale my company over the last 4 years. But again, I think the most important thing is we need more angels in the continent. We cannot keep waiting for maybe foreign investors forever. The continent has depth of capital, and we have access and network. And most especially, one thing that's important with the African Angel Academy that I must talk about is the network, right? Investing is a very relationship and network driven game. And so the better you're in networks, the better access, opportunity, and data you will get. And this is what the African Angel Academy has helped me do, but also helped me think bigger in terms of I need to reach someone in a different continent or in a different state around a different company or a vertical I'm trying to invest in. I could get answers from their own point of view, which I can have in one view in terms of what I need to invest or what I need to look out, or the red flags or good flags I need to look out in business. So yeah, I will always recommend this. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I think we've heard from our panelists that beyond the content, there are a number of benefits from joining the community, from Kemi being passionate about actually participating and investing in the next round of African entrepreneurs, whether it's with cash, coaching, skill in kind. Michelle talked about also being able to add value, and that AAA's really curates the resources. And Temitope, you really spoke about the network and kind of those insider information, which we really try to give you access to experienced investors through the Q&A sessions and the masterclasses to get those insights. For those of you who are not looking at the chat, I'd encourage you to have a look at the chat, because some people have been asking questions, and the Victoria Venture team has done a great job answering them. But when you join the AAA program, part of the process is also helping you to understand what your own investment mandate is and what your investment strategy is. Because I can tell you now that all of us on the screen, we might all be angel investors, but we probably all have very different appetites. And a great deal to me is probably not the same as a great deal to someone else, just because we're based in different geographies, in different sectors. Some of us might have an impact or a gender lens. So we really help you and guide you through this process. I'm just aware of time, Stephen, as well, and Fiona, so jump in. I just want to ask our panelists, like, if I had to ask you for one, I'm going to ask that question. Do you think it's worth paying $1,000 for this? And the other thing is, what do you think your biggest benefit is and value add from the program?
I'll go first, please. I think it's worth paying $500,000 for the program. I am not exaggerating. I'm thinking of what we will get out of something like this. This is the 11th cohort. Many humans, 98% of humans are used to just watching things start, not become an early adopter. Just watching it start, oh yeah. And then when it just blows up, oh, I knew about that thing 5 years ago. Don't be that person. You could have helped all kinds of businesses scale, because it's just the right word, angel. You could have been an angel to increase the economy of this nation. I'm in Nigeria, of the whole continent of Africa. We don't need to keep waiting for anyone, because if someone else comes from out of Africa, you're going to, oh, it's them. Oh, it must be real. No, we are real. We are the real deal. I'm not saying they're not real, but we are the real deal. We know our continent. We know ourselves. So don't go counting, oh, 1,000, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop it. Just get in there, learn the stuff, and get your act together. That's how I talk. I'm sorry. I should have apologized before I started. I usually do.
Kimmy, I think we're going to pay you advertising fees, endorsement fees with this. Michelle.
Yeah, I think the I will only truly know the real value, right, in a couple of years' time, once I see some returns on my investments. However, what I've already seen, I think it's very intangible. There's a reason why it's called the ecosystem, and it's made out of many different players, right? Whether you're on the investing side or you're on the entrepreneurs. But even within the investing side of the ecosystem, the angels feed into the VCs that feed into the PEs, and then the later IPO kind of markets. And the deeper the understanding of any asset class only benefits the next asset class, and in total the entire ecosystem. I think the number of connections I've been able to gain with this experience it's only going to grow, because AAA as a community is going to grow that way. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this community grows, and even my own portfolio in the next 1 to 3 decades. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Michelle. And I think that also answers, there was a question from the audience around, I'm thinking of getting into the VC space and I need to learn a little bit more about angel investing. They are quite different. As someone who worked in the VC space for a long time before becoming an entrepreneur and an angel, they are quite different, but very complementary. And I think we've got a number of VC players who are active angels as well. And then also some successful angels have become LPs in VC funds. So it is all about that ecosystem. Temitope, I'll let you have the last word.
All right, thank you. So I think for me, would you be willing to pay this amount? I'll ask you, the question is, if you had the knowledge that could set you up for success, what will you put in terms of quantified value to that? I think it's a steal to have this, not this to maybe from advertising or something, but one thing people always know for me is when I get for something, I always promote it. And having an opportunity right now in front of you, the best opportunity or the best time to invest in that is now. The next time is never. So yeah, it's worth the money, it's worth the education, and most possibly the friendships that will come out from here, but it's also learning together with people to go. What we always like to say is, in Africa, to build a company takes a village. In this case, to build powerhouse takes a city, and you can just be the fundamental building blocks of that growth. So I think if you're thinking about it and you're out there, I think yes, you should take it dive with it. The second point is it will bring you closer to own personal goals and achievements.
Thanks, Temitope. You broke up a little bit there, but we definitely got the gist. Just to ensure everyone, we have not paid our panelists. They have come on here by their own free will, and these endorsements have not been funded by AAA. But we, certainly from my perspective, as I said at the beginning, we started this program during COVID, and so some of our angels, we only met in person kind of 2 or 3 years later, but we've had the most fantastic relationships and kind of communities building and this beautiful network. And I tell you, Stephen and the team, we also do work with entrepreneurs and hubs and other things. And if we need a lawyer for a startup in Uganda, and we know that one of our angels who's a lawyer, and that's our first port of call, and wonderful mentors, and it really is a great community. Thank you to our panelists. I really appreciate your time. Thank you to Fiona for organizing everything. Stephen, I'm going to hand back over to you because I know we've only got a few minutes left.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks to the panelists. I think that was an amazing session. And thanks, Alex, for clarifying that you didn't pay our panelists. Yeah, it's really good to hear the kind words from people who've gone through the program. I think for me, if someone asked me whether $1,000 was worth it, and I know I'm an interested party, one of the things you learn about investment is that once you start your investment journey in whatever it is, you have to pay school fees. So you ever pay it by attending a program like AAA, or you lose quite a bit of the initial investment. I guess if you imagine that you're going to be making investments, I don't know, 5K, 10K in per startup, and you make 10 startups, and if you lose the first 2, I think that's already the fees for AAA that you lost a couple of times fold. We're not guaranteeing that if you go through AAA, you're not going to lose your money. But I think you're going to improve your investing skills. You're going to meet interesting people who are going to support in that journey. So we really hope that you can join the next cohort. Let me just share these just in case. The link has been shared by Fiona, but I'm also just going to put this out. That's the QR code you can scan. And we're looking forward to answering any questions that you have. You can reach out to us on our emails, on our social media. We will have another info session just in case you have someone else you want to invite to attend and learn more about what is on offer for AAA. But do make your application now so that we can start having an impact in the ecosystem and you can kickstart your investment journey. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. We do like keeping time. If you have to drop off, feel free to drop off. And if you'd like to ask any questions, we're going to hang around for the next couple of minutes just to see if there's any additional questions. Fiona, have we missed out anything?
No, I think we're good. Thank you everyone for joining us. We know you could have been doing a million other things today, but we're super honored to have you all here. Hopefully we'll see you all on the other side, which is the actual program.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to ask a question and they were too shy in the chat, we'll stay on for a few more minutes if you want to just reach out to us.
Yeah.
Has anyone responded to the question about any possibility for a sponsorship? That question.
Oh, sorry, I just saw that from Beatrice Minor. I don't know if that's a real Beatrice or that's David. Any possibility for sponsorships? At the moment, this is a fully self-sponsored cohort. However, we are having conversations with different partners and friends of AAA. And if those opportunities arise, we'll be sure to share them with anyone who's been admitted. And so what I would recommend is please make sure that you apply and you're admitted into the program. And once our partners respond, if we get partners who are willing to sponsor, and we have asked different partners, then we can reach out to you and tell you the kind of sponsorship that you have available. But you'd have to be admitted to the program. Thanks, Kenny, for pointing that out. Beatrice, I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Stephen. Just to also note, we even if we have a sponsor or for the program, there still is a fee, so it's never completely free. And just also, if there are any entrepreneurs in the audience, it's very much a program for angel investors. It's not designed for entrepreneurs. So we, that's why we also, there is a fee payable. Yeah, just to also, we've seen that increases commitment as well.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I can't see any more questions. Oh, that's Edna who asked the question. I don't know why many people are joining us, Beatrice. That's a good question to ask ourselves. We'll make sure that we check the tech next time so that it reflects your name. Thanks, Edna, for the question.
Yeah, we did have about 10 Beatrices at one point. Don't know. If a Beatrice got the link and then just shared it or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But we should be telling Beatrice, thank you, Beatrice, for all the people that have come in your name. But for all those Beatrices, you'll have to make your own individual application to be admitted for the cohort. So thank you, everybody. I think we are going to close shop for today, and we look forward to meet you during the next cohort. And as mentioned, feel free to ask any questions that you have. Have a lovely evening. Alex, thank you very much. The panelists, Kemi, Michelle, and Temi, thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. And of course, Fiona, for all the hard work in the background.
Thanks, team. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.